I've dated men that my mom hates so much that one time a guy came after I dumped him, and my mom answered the door and she goes, "We're over you." I said, "We? We?" From The Cut and the Vox Media Podcast Network, this is Tefi Talks. Before we start the show today, I have some remarks and some thoughts. I know this is crazy, but I have opinions and things to say. I get your comments and I get your DMs. To my dismay, I get the comments and DMs that are like, "Tefi, oh my God, it makes me sad that your employer makes you wear these. These are my clothes. We do not have wardrobe. Wardrobe is Estefania Vanegas Pessoa. Esa soy yo." When I put on my clothes, I'm like, oh, this is cute. I went to school in the Miami-Dade public school system where we had uniforms. I loved not having to think about what I had to put on that day. I was in the Spanish program at Carver Middle School. And I was in the Spanish program, so we had to wear gold polos. Did I look amazing in gold? No. And the German kids got red, and the French kids got baby blue. I would have given anything. I would have given both thumbs to wear baby blue to school every day, but alas, I had to wear gold. But would I wear my Old Navy Bermuda short? Yes. Would I wear my PE uniform? Yes. Did all the other kids get to wear Sophies rolled up 3 times? Yes. Did my mom get me the Sophie Bermuda shorts? Yes. What the fuck was that, by the way? What the fuck was that? It did not help my nickname, according to my bullies, which was Longback Tefi.
Oh, that's so...
Longback Tefi. And the Bermuda short did not do me any favors. My point being, I loved waking up and not having to think about it. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about this. And then these ties are from probably a retired dentist on eBay, where I bought the box for like $25. Yeah, and it's 50 fucking ties, and I think it's gorgeous. If you're watching the show on YouTube right now, listen to me. Subscribe. Take a moment. I'll give you one. I'll give you 3 Mississippis. Oh, thank you so much. Here at Tefi Talks, we like to talk about showbiz, baby, because there's no business like business that isn't mine. And today, we're going to be talking about Robin from Stranger Things' parents, a.k.a. Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman. What a time to be alive. We'll have to clarify that. Okay. But first, let's get into some headlines. There's only one headline I care about this week, and it's Brooklyn Beckham's Instagram story. So Brooklyn Beckham this week, son to Victoria and David Beckham, posted a 6-page Instagram story on Monday detailing the feud with his family, which we covered on our show last year. But let me just note, this has always been like rumors that they don't like each other. There's never been confirmation until now. I never, ever thought it would come from him. And imagine my surprise. And yesterday, when he was posting about it, I started getting comments saying, "Tefi, when are you going to talk about it? When are you going to talk about it?" Well, happy Thursday to you. Here we are. It's 6 slides, like I said, and I'm going to comment on them as I read them. And then I'm going to have a surprise return guest on the show. And guess what? I don't have her hands or feet or nose. I don't have her complexion. I don't have her eye color or her hair color, but I do have her nasty, nasty attitude and her distaste for authority. Okay, so you can guess. Here we go. First slide. I have been silent for years and made every effort to keep these matters private. What did I think? I thought he was going to tell us he was gay. That's what I was like, oh, it's happening. Nay. Unfortunately, my parents, imagine my face, imagine time stopped, because I know who they are. Unfortunately, my parents and their team have continued to go to the press, leaving me with no choice but to speak for myself and tell the truth about only some of the lies that have been printed. Okay, you got me. I'm hooked. I do not want to reconcile with my family. KK. I'm not being controlled. I'm standing up for myself for the first time in my life. Okay, all right. For my entire life, my parents have controlled narratives in the press about our family. Which to me, I think, yeah, of course you have. They're one of the most famous, two of the most famous people in the entire world. They are stupid famous. I'm sure that they're trying to control narratives all the time. I'm trying to control narratives whenever somebody posts an ugly photo of me. The performative social media posts, family events, and inauthentic relationships have been a fixture of the life I was born into. Again, it's one of the most famous families in the fucking world. Recently, I have seen with my own eyes the lengths that they'll go to place countless lies in the media, mostly at the expense of innocent people to preserve their own facade. My parents have been trying endlessly to ruin my relationship since before my wedding, and it hasn't stopped. My mom canceled making Nicola's dress in the 11th hour despite how excited she was to wear her design, forcing her to urgently find a new dress. Yo me fucking muero. I would die. Okay, whatever. Weeks before our big day, my parents repeatedly pressured and attempted to bribe me into signing away the rights to my name, which would have affected me, my wife, and our future children. They were adamant on me signing before my wedding date because then the terms of the deal would be initiated. My holdout affected the payday. The night before our wedding, members of my family told me that Nicola was, quote, not blood and not family. Okay. Since the moment I started standing up for myself with my family, I've received endless attacks from my parents, both privately and publicly, that were sent to the press on their orders. Even my brothers were sent to attack me on social media before they ultimately blocked me out of nowhere this last summer, which is when on Instagram they were commenting about one of his brothers dating somebody that Brooklyn was romantically linked to. My mom hijacked my first dance with my wife, which had been planned weeks in advance in a romantic love song. In front of our 500 wedding guests, Mark Anthony called me to the stage. Mark, I need a quote. I need you to say something. Not yesterday, not tomorrow, today. She danced very inappropriately on me in front of everyone, on me. Not with me, on me. So what do you think? Right? You're not thinking Macarena. You're thinking body roll, which I struggle to imagine Victoria Beckham really moving like water. You know what I mean? When I think of Victoria Beckham, it's more like, you know what I mean? Like, hey, do you come here often? Hey, you know what I mean? So that's Brooklyn Beckham is calling Victoria Beckham gross. He's kind of like insinuating, right? The way that we talk about like boy moms on the TikTok, where they're like, the moms are inappropriate with their sons. Like the boy is in his football uniform in high school and the mom has like her legs wrapped around him like, my boy, or like holding the baby, like crying, like imagining losing him on his wedding day. And you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? You know? It's also making Victoria Beckham sound as though that she cannot handle not being the center of attention and being desired. I just can't see Victoria Beckham dancing sexy. And I need the footage today, okay? If somebody is in there, everybody has a camera phone. I need the footage today because let me be the judge of what's crazy, sexy, cool. It's just weird to think about, which is what he wanted, right? Okay. We wanted to renew our vows so we could create new memories on our wedding day that bring us joy and happiness, not anxiety and embarrassment. And if you remember, when they renewed their vows, the Beckhams were not present and the press was like, all of Nicola's family was there. Where were the Beckhams? And people were like, maybe it's scheduling conflicts. And then people were like, no. They're family people. Where are they? My wife has been consistently disrespected by my family no matter how hard we've tried to come together as one. My mom has repeatedly invited women from my past into our lives in ways that were clearly intended to make us both uncomfortable. I think he's talking about pushing his ex-thing, like girlfriend, whatever, on Romeo. I also know some moms that do stay in contact with exes or like families that keep around exes. I'm not about it. I fucking hate that shit. Like, I don't get it. But it sounds like to me, Brooklyn is also pissed. Like, how are you going to like her more than my wife? You know what I mean? I don't know. Despite this, We still traveled to London for my dad's birthday, and we were rejected for a week as we waited in our hotel room trying to plan quality time with him. I would just like to say this. David Beckham's 50th birthday party, people flew in from all over the world. And him being like, no, I want one-on-one. No, I want one-on-one. David Beckham, I can't go to lunch with my mom without my brother and sister unless we're like going to an appointment or something where my mom has tricked me into like going back to my pediatrician or something. You know what I mean? Like, or my mom's like, you haven't gotten a cleaning, so you have a cleaning today. Then we're going to lunch after, okay? Mind you, I can't eat for 30 fucking minutes, but we're going to lunch. We're going to lunch. I think Brooklyn is most known. He's tried a million avenues too. Chef, photographer, whatever. He is known for him and his baby girl. So that's part of his identity. And to reject Nicola is to reject part of his identity and his greatest investment. He has over 70 tattoos of her. He has pelts on his stomach. He has pelts. Brand Beckham comes first. Family quote unquote love, is decided by how much you post on social media or how quickly you drop everything to show up and post for a family photo op, even if it's at the expense of our professional obligations. We've gone out of our way for years to show up and support at every fashion show, every party, every press activity to show our perfect family. Let it be known now here to the Beckhams, nobody ever thought you had a perfect family. We just thought that you guys support each other, but there was no idea of this like perfect family, whatever. The narrative that my wife controls me is completely backwards. I don't think Nicola controls you. I think your feelings are hurt, Brooklyn. I don't think that Nicola controls you. I think you're very, very sensitive, and that's okay. I have been controlled by my parents for most of my life. Me too. I grew up with overwhelming anxiety. For the first time in my life, since stepping away from my family, that anxiety has disappeared. Oh, it's just, of course. Because it's like being a son and being part of that huge brand and that family must feel like a responsibility, and having to like protect your parents when they have hurt your feelings over and over must feel like you finally have a right to be angry and you can be outwardly angry. I wake up every morning grateful for the life I chose and have found peace and relief. My wife and I do not want a life shaped by image, press, or manipulation, and we want peace, privacy, and happiness for us and our future family. Then delete your social medias. I don't know what to want. This message is not about peace. I have never been a parent. Okay, I have a tabby that's turning 10 this year. She's never dated anybody I disapproved of. She barely goes outside without her carrier. But I've never been a parent to a human child, but I have been a kid. And sometimes I think a parent, even if it feels, like earlier I was talking about it, even if it feels like you're swallowing a pine cone wrapped in aluminum foil, you have to swallow it. You have to choose. You have to grit your teeth and you have to apologize to your son's wife. She's not going anywhere. They are a team. She's not going anywhere. You think, from a different perspective, I've had best friends date men that I want dead. And I know that if I insert myself, or if I make myself the disapproving friend, or if I look at him in the face and say, I think that you are swamp shit that shit something out, and then another swamp creature ate it and shit that out, that's what I think you are, I'm giving them a common enemy, then I don't support her, then support is so important to her, that I'm going to lose her and she's going to find him as a confidant. That's what it is. David and Victoria have created a son who sees his wife as a confidant who is being constantly ignored and set aside by people that he loves the most. And Brooklyn sees Victoria and David welcoming people into their family and destroying people who disagree with them, to the point where they're accepting Brooklyn's ex-girlfriend to be with Romeo. You're just going to have to figure it out or never speak to each other again. And I personally cannot imagine my tabby never speaking to me again. So I can only imagine my human son and his wife in Los Angeles not speaking to me. And now, let's call my favorite lady. Mario Seba Negas Pessoa. A ver.
Hola, hija.
Mom, what do you think about Brooklyn Beckham's stories que te mandé?
I almost cried
You cry? Why?
because they're both so blinded by ego and control issues, they don't see the big picture.
That's what
I'm
I said.
sad.
That's what I said. I said, sometimes holding your tongue and saying how you really feel. Es que ese niño, to grow up in that
You know what?
PR
He went
machine.
nuclear. He went
He went
nuclear.
nuclear.
And
He went nuclear.
the parents are wrong. No way am I, but they are wrong, but they kept trying. Wrong, but they kept trying. He just severed. And he's gonna miss out on his siblings getting married, his nieces and nephews, and the parents are gonna miss on the grandchildren. And I do think maybe she's Nicola, that's her name.
Nicola, sí.
Maybe she's not controlling him, but the truth is that you listen to the person you share a pillow with. That's just how it is. They're a unit, they're a family. When you marry, that is your family.
That's your family, yeah.
And they have to compromise. It may not be like before, and you won't know. I have news for you. You pass these crises, and then you are able to be close again.
Sí. It's the initial. Bueno.
But nobody is saying, 1 minute, give me a minute. No. Everybody's like firing. I hope the parents are mature and don't fire back with another. This is terrible. It made me super sad. Que pecado.
Well, thank you, Mother. Thank you, Mother.
Bueno, hija, have a good podcast.
I'll send this to Victoria Beckham. Te quiero.
Un beso, mama.
Bye.
Bye.
Good luck editing that. And this comes out, on Thursday? If on Wednesday, tomorrow, Victoria and David come out with a statement, I'll call it selfish. Could you wait? Till next Monday? Wait. Okay. With all of this Beckham talk, we can't help but include another fixture of the early 2000s. Uma Thurman and Ethan Hawke after this break. Enjoy it. Uma Thurman, Ethan Hawke. Uma's background paints a really nice picture of who she is. Uma's dad was the first American to become an ordained Tibetan Buddhist monk and taught Buddhist studies at Columbia. And her mom was a model turned psychotherapist. How annoying to be a teenager in that house. It's like, when you're a teenager and those hormones are coursing through your body, all you want to do is pick up the house that you're in and shake it. And here they are being like, sweetie, express yourself. Like, you have every right to feel that way. And then not only that, but your mom is a badass, like, beautiful model, like, gorgeous psychotherapist who's like the most beautiful woman in the world, while you look like an adolescent parrot with like 4 feathers, being like, you have every right to feel the way that you feel. I would light myself on fire. Ethan Hawke was born in Texas and raised in New York, where he developed a passion for theater. The most popular lore about Uma and Ethan is that the two met in 1997 on the set of the film of Gattaca. Incredible film. Have you seen it? Of course not. That's okay. But actually, Ethan and Uma first saw each other for the first time in line at the ATM in the East Village. In today's time, if I met somebody at the ATM in the East Village, oh, are you also buying drugs? Oh, who's your guy? Okay. Ethan Hawke was waiting in line behind Uma and said that she was the most beautiful creature he had ever seen. For some reason, that word really matters to me, and it hit me a little hard. The most beautiful creature. I think men think that's romantic when there are words like vision, angel, creature. In Ethan's recollection, he introduces himself to Uma, but she hadn't seen his films and treated him like a fan. Ugh. Oh, the fragile. I picture men's ego like cellophane. At this point in time, Ethan is already very famous because of his role in the Dead Poets Society. And it's like, I can imagine him being like, wait, no, I'm also an actor. And she's like, keep going. Years later, when Ethan tells Uma about this encounter that they have, she said that she could not remember it. Jay-Z 99 Problems video. Like that. So Uma and Ethan's characters were love interests in Gattaca. And Ethan said that the two fell madly in love in the heightened environment that sets create a sort of manufactured reality. And I've always said that sets are what? Orgies. And I've always said that if I ever am with an actor, that they're going to do their movies via Zoom. And that is not insecurity. That's just reality. Uma and Ethan got married on May 1st, 1998. I think that's the day of my first communion. Isn't that funny? She was 28 and he was 27. Uma was previously married to Gary Oldman. Did you know that? She was 18 and he was 30. So Ethan Hawke is her second wedding. Gary Oldman. My favorite movie in the world is The Fifth Element. So when I think of Gary Oldman, he's got like the clear with the like blood and he's like that. You know what I'm talking about? Do you know what I'm talking about? No. Of course. Not long after the wedding, Uma welcomed baby Maya Hawke in July 1998, and then her second child, Rowan, in 2002. What's Rowan's full name again?
Levon Rowan Hawke.
Levon Rowan Hawke, Private Eye. That is and he's like this skinny little white boy. Oh, I brought my friend Levon. Damn.
That's cool.
He looks like Christopher Robin in Winnie the Pooh. That's Levon Rowan. Private Eye. Now, this is how this is gonna go. Okay. And during this time, neither Uma or Ethan are really saying much about their marriage. Classy, except Ethan, who tries to dispel the fantasy of the Hollywood marriage in an April 2002 profile for the New York Times. Listen to me closely. In this profile, he says that marriage saved him from his own narcissism, but it's not always easy. I know, well, especially for a narcissist, no? Then Ethan says, quote, listen to the words coming out of my mouth. Quote, I'm married to one of the most beautiful women in the world. But even she doesn't look the way that she does in magazines when she wakes up in the morning. I just don't want to be part of the myth making. Why I oughta... Let me say that, Ethan. Let me say, I really don't look like that. If my partner was like, Tefi really doesn't look like that, I will see you in a court of law tomorrow. And you better pray the judge isn't a woman, because I'll be like, Your Honor, Miss Lady, I need you to know, Miss Taylor, that's some real internet nuance. Miss Taylor, do you know what he said? He told the New York Times that I'm really not that bad in person. He called me mid. He told the New York Times that I'm mid. She would have said, oh my God, why'd you say so? 25 to life. Shackle him like Hannibal. Shackle, face mask. Because what the fuck is your deal? I would have looked at him. I would have been like, and you know what? I'm calling in. Hi. New York Times. Yes. I also want you to know that my husband, Ethan Hawke, is balding. If anybody, I'm calling because my internet is down. If anybody has some recommendations in Turkey, thank you. Ethan, the myth isn't that she's beautiful. He's like, I know there's a lot of rumors swirling around, but she's really not that fine. The myth is that relationships are not easy, Ethan. Let's stay on track here. Imagine, I would never. I love these pencils. Unfortunately, though, he did prove them right about the relationship part. Ethan was shooting Taking Lives. What a sexy fucking film, by the way. Taking Lives with Angelina Jolie. What a sexy fucking film. I was literally telling my producers and... Say hi, Bryn. Hi. That movie, he does this thing. Ethan Hawke does this thing in films where when he's like enamored with somebody, he looks like he stops breathing. Like he looks like he's nervous and he stops breathing. Like he really is in front of this beautiful creature. But he is so, that movie, the sexual tension in that movie. Can we get Angelina on the line? I want to know if they made love. I watched that movie. Have you seen Original Sin? That's the common denominator. It's a sexy movie because Angelina Jolie's in it, and Ethan Hawke is nervous, as we all would be. He stops breathing when he sees Angelina Jolie. This is me with Angelina Jolie. Okay. Ethan was shooting Taking Lives in Montreal the summer of 2003 when photos emerged of him with 22-year-old model Jennifer Purcell, model. And I can't find a photo of her fucking anywhere. So maybe he meant model citizen, model student at the UN. Maybe there are many models, but I cannot find a photo of her anywhere. Were we talking Neiman Marcus catalog 2003? I cannot find a photo of her. Jennifer said at the time that when they met, Ethan said that he and Uma were already separated and that she had no reason not to believe him. And he told her, you know you're not that cute, right? No. But it seems like Uma was not, in fact, in the loop because one of her brothers gave a statement to reporters, quote, Uma Thurman's brother told reporters, I want to kill him. Does that sound like Uma Thurman was in the loop, or was she calling her family desesperada, like this? He's with a fucking 22-year-old, you know? Not long after, Ethan gave a statement. Ethan is giving statements. It sounds like somebody loves a statement, loves a camera. He is pretty cute. He is pretty cute. A statement to ABC News and said, Uma and I did not split up over anybody's infidelity. We had a lot of problems before I ever went to Montreal. Let me hear it from Uma. Let me hear it from Uma. Uma. This was especially huge news because Ethan had crafted an ultra-sensitive and very honest persona that came crashing down after these pictures came out. And that is true. When you think about a little poetic lover boy of the 2000s, I do think of Ethan Hawke and Ewan McGregor. I do think of those two boys. Who else? River Phoenix. Oh, I can't even talk about it. River Phoenix. But Ethan Hawke was definitely one of those like sensitive boys when I thought about like a boy who like manic pixie dream girl boy. And if you don't believe me, just recently I was on the TikTok. Listen to listen to Ethan Hawke's TED Talk. Play it.
Most people don't spend a lot of time thinking about poetry until their father dies. They go to a funeral, you lose a child. Did anybody feel like this before? What is happening to me? And that's when art's not a luxury, it's actually sustenance.
Mind you, these are the chapters on the YouTube of the TED Talk, right? Human creativity matters. White Fang, know yourself, a calling from God, creativity is vital, play the fool. Does it not sound like Bob Dylan song titles? What are you doing? White Fang? I would think it's a boy in the 80s talking about his car. You want to get him White Fang? Mace. Whatever. You want to bet Uma... And you know what? Knowing that Uma Thurman's father is a Buddhist monk, you want to bet that he fucking loves Ethan Hawke? You want to bet that Uma's like, stop calling my ex-husband. He's like, he understands the complexity of life. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. That's the only time when I wanted to be a little Beckham style. Stop fucking talking to each other. To no one's surprise, Uma and Ethan announced a separation in September 2003. Uma Thurman's star was also majorly on the rise because in October of 2003, a small little film called Kill Bill comes out. It's the biggest role of her life. She's finally getting her flowers. She's a fucking rock star. That film's an incredible film. Do I like Quentin Tarantino? Please. I fucking love you, Paul Dano. I fucking love you. Everyone's obsessed with Uma Thurman. She's on the cover of every fucking magazine. She's rocking, she's rolling. And then she's probably in her hotel room during press tours sobbing her eyes out because her man is being himself. I hate to think about somebody finally reaching a level of success that they've been dreaming about and their partner fucking ruins it. A tale as old as fucking time. Speaking of my mom, she's like, you are cursing a lot on this podcast. Well, during their separation, Uma and Ethan's separation, Ethan mused that Uma might be too ambitious for him. I know this is crazy, but he gave another statement. He told Today, I don't know if it's just too hard to be married to a woman that wants to be a movie star. I know that she has the right to want that. Now, color me confused, but when you were standing beside her at the ATM, when you were just a mere fan, Didn't you recognize her from movies? Because if you told me that when you met her, she was a carpenter, she wanted to raise emus, I'd be like, okay, that's a big shift. Didn't you know her because she was famous for being in movies? Shortly after the scandal, rumors began to swirl that Ethan was in a relationship with the former nanny to his kids. What's her name? Ryan. Ryan Shawhughes. And you know what? Earlier, when my producer struggled with this last name, I was like, what is it? What could it possibly... Now I understand. It does sound like when someone's in a movie and they're like lying about their identity and someone says, what's your name? And they're like, Tom microphone. Like it does sound in a bar. What's your name? Sarah Schweppies. Schweppes? Whatever, I'm foreign. I'm from Miami. Now listen, Uma Thurman is one of the most singularly beautiful faces in the world. You don't have to agree with me because sometimes people are wrong and you have every right to be wrong. But Ethan clearly has a type. I always say that women look like, okay, there's like, have you heard of like mousy women? Or like on TikTok, they'll be like deer, women who look like a deer, women that look bunnies, women that look like, people tell me I look like a horse. One time I got llama. And when I told my dentist that, but I do feel like Uma has like a bird-like sense to her. You know what I mean? I do think that Ethan has a bird affection for bird. You know what? Let's do this. Can you pull up a picture of Uma? Okay. Put up a picture of Ryan. Now put up a picture of Ethan Hawke's mother. Sit with it. No, I had to sit with it. You sit with it. You sit with it. You know, if I had to sit with it, so do you. Also, like, I just want to say, when I think about exes and people I've dated or whatever, I never look like their mothers. But there are times when the mom doesn't shut the fuck up and is overly opinionated and loud and doesn't know when the party ends. I go, there it is. There it is. There it is. Oh, I am just your type. Ethan insists that nothing scandalous happened with Ryan when she was the nanny, which is exactly what I would say if something scandalous happened while she was the nanny. They got married in 2008 and have been together ever since. So do with that what you will. You know what I mean? People talk about it on TikTok all the time. Americans hate cheating unless it's the love of your life. Never let your wife get in the way of your girlfriend or future wife. You know what I mean? Americans love that shit. Ethan said that he was not trying to get into a relationship at the time. Quote, when I split up, I was hell-bent on not having any more kids and I wanted to be single for the rest of my life. But then I made a best friend and I liked kissing her. And you know what? Fuck you. That is very cute. I hate to deny another woman her love story. And I'm sure she already knew that she got along well with the children. You know what I mean? And this is a story they tell people on anniversaries. This is, in her eyes, her greatest love story. And in my eyes, I cannot imagine the gaslighting in that house. An emotional, intelligent man is a weapon. I'm going to say it again. An emotionally intelligent man is a weapon. And this, like, what's that Bible saying? Things I thought I'd never say. No weapon shall be formed against me shall prosper. That is a weapon that has prospered against me, an emotionally intelligent man. You know what I mean? Like, I can completely see her being like, well, I felt misheard. And he would say, well, you know, growing up, I never felt misheard by my mother. And if I were Ryan, I'd say, oh, I know, I look just like her. Poetry makes men worse. Put it on a t-shirt. Poetry makes men worse. Sit with it. Sit with it. Think about it. Even Dr. Seuss was a fucking asshole. Poetry. Ethan and Uma officially got divorced in 2005. Uma was already fed up by being in the tabloids, and she says this, if I see one more headline about it, I'll gag. I'm just another American woman who was in an unfulfilled marriage that fell apart. Woof. The American part is vital. You know, she has like a French, like very good French. She's like, oh, sorry, I didn't answer your call. We were in Positano doing Kama Sutra. She's like sick. Uma Thurman was last known to be dating media executive Justin B. Smith, which also sounds made up. Why not Junie B. Jones? And shares a child with French financier Arpad Busson. Arpad Busson. And I wish her the best. You know, sometimes your husband leaves you for a girl who looks just like you. And then you realize you both look like his mom. And then you open up his notes app and there's poems about all three of you. Best of luck to everyone. And I think Maya Hawke is cool as fuck. And I like her music. And to Levon, I know you're on top of that case. Happy belated to Dolly Parton, born January 19th, 1946. And before we even get to the wigs, the philanthropy, the voice that sounds like it was kissed by a Appalachian angel, we must consider the signs presented by Pandora. Okay, so Dolly Parton. She has an incredible big three. Her sun is in Capricorn. Her moon is in Virgo. And she's a Virgo rising. Who else is a Beyonce rising? Me. I'm a Beyonce rising as well, Dolly. Oh, take my hand. Take my hand. You like my necklace? Thank you. The fact that one of her most popular songs is 9 to 5 is ironic because the chart that she's working with, her birth chart, tells me that she's working 25/8. 24/7 is for what? Amateurs. She's 25/8. Yeah. Her Mercury is in Capricorn, but her Mars is in Cancer. And I find this very interesting. If you've been watching the show, you know that Mercury is your communication, right? And then her Mars being in Cancer and Mars being action, passion, and change, fighting. Some people say sex. It's me. I feel like she is a go-getter in communication. She's slick with it. I mean, we know that. We've seen her interviews. She's slick with it. She knows how to walk around a conversation. She knows how to stroll around an answer. And, you know, she knows how to please everybody, but still make her stance known, which I really respect. And I haven't figured out how to do that. I only know how to say how I feel and make enemies. I think she uses her powers for good. I know some people who have Mars in Cancer that use their powers for bad, and they're usually club promoters. One person, it seems Dolly would never criticize publicly, however, is Carl Dean. They were together for over 60 years. So let's back up for a second. This couple meets in 1964 at the Wishy-Washy Laundromat, on Dolly Parton's first day in Nashville. Dolly says this, "My clothes in the machine, I started walking down the street," and you know by walking, she means strutting. I have never seen Dolly just casually walk. She is strutting. She's always holding a pencil between her shoulder blades. You know it. "I started walking down the street just looking at my new home, and this guy hollered at me, and I waved. Being from the country, I spoke to everybody. And he came over and, well, it was Carl, my husband." And then Carl says this, "My first thought was, I'm going to marry that girl. My second thought was, Lord, she's good looking. That's what the fuck I'm talking about." And he continues, "That was the day my life began. That's what the fuck I'm talking about. I like this bitch and I'm going to marry this bitch respectfully with all the respect to my body." There are almost no public images of Carl Dean, who passed away last year. Oh, confirmed. Until the end, the two kept their relationship very private. I love a man who I love hearing about a woman's partner, unlike Ethan Hawke, who loves his wife to be a rock star superstar and he can just be at home doing his own thing. You know what I mean? He's like, I'm watching TV, I'm doing whatever I'm going to ride in my car, I'm going to, hang out with my friends. My baby's doing her thing, I love that because I think in every relationship there should be a rock and a star and they're interchangeable sometimes. But I don't think Carl ever wanted to be like a star. You know what? Maybe Dolly is just so good at being Dolly that every time she walked home, she made Carl feel like a star. I love you so much, Dolly Parton. Happy birthday. I need you to be taking all of your vitamins and never miss a doctor's appointment. I need you to live forever and ever, okay? That's my one request for you on your birthday. And now, can I be a bitch for a second? I'm just going to speak from my solar plexus, from the depth of my soul, it is so fucking cold in New York. It is so unbelievably cold. Yesterday, I was out working, man on the street style, and I had boogers, and my chin was frozen, my knuckles were red and like cracked. You know who else was? Leonardo DiCaprio in The Revenant. What? And he's not in metropolitan New York City. No, he was in where? In the mouth of a grizzly bear. So I just think as a society, we really, truly fucked up. We should have committed more to the paper straws. We are obviously not fucking recycling. We should have never used these aerosols. Thanks to everybody in the world who, I don't know, fuck with the ozone layer. Now, every time you get good news about the environment, but good news, the hole is closing. What? It's closing? Like, action? We're so, whatever. And I watch these movies of people enjoying their winters. No. You know what I'm talking about? Leave It to Beaver, where they're like doing the snowball fight and stuff. I dare you. You hit me with a fucking snowball, I'm putting razor blades in it and hitting you back. After I piss in the snowball, I'm putting razor blades in it. Don't fuck with me. And you know what? I'm not going to be a bitch for a second. I'm going to be a bitch for a century. I'd like to shout out all the boomers. Thanks for inventing plastic. We didn't invent plastic. Well, I have to blame somebody. I'm blaming you. I can't buy a house and everything is made of plastic and it's poisoning me. There are plastics in men's testicles. I saw a TikTok that said that men's testicles feel like a bag of marbles, and I have to live with that. I have to live with that. Thank you. Somebody said everything that's ever been invented that's in plastic still exists. My collar's turned upside. I'm obviously very stressed and I'm very, very cold. For the first time in my 14 years, well, it makes 14 this October, fuck it, of living in New York, I bought a puffer jacket. I've never worn a puffer jacket. I've always wanted to look like Penny Lane in Almost Famous. Now, Michelin. I look like trains, planes, and automobiles. That's who John Candy. I look like John Candy. Rest in peace, King. So what did we learn? I'm cold as fuck. And Brooklyn Beckham is mad. Don't trust Ethan Hawke's poetry, Rex. I love Dolly Parton. And I will always love you. If you're not already following the show, find us everywhere at Tefi Talks. Subscribe on YouTube and all the podcast platforms, and Instagram and TikTok so you can share with your other work bestie. Ew. We have a voicemail line for any and all work questions, work dramas. Call 844-HEY-TEFI. That's 844-439-8334. Are you fucking your coworker? Why won't you tell me about it? Tefi Talks is produced by the Vox Media Podcast Network and The Cut. For a special discount on New York Magazine and The Cut, visit nymag.com/Tefi. Goodbye.